Are you excited to release your third feature film, Val?
I am. It's going to be a lot different than the past, assuming the world is still closed down. We were planning on having a big premiere. We had to cancel our wrap party because of everything. But that aside, the actual making of it was an absolute blast. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had making a movie. It's a horror fantasy, kind of in the vein of Beetlejuice, and yeah, we plan on reaching out to some of the same distributors that we've worked with in the past, and sort of sending out the trailer and seeing what happens, seeing where we can land a home for it. But I'm super excited. It's a different type of movie than the other two.
What has it taught you about storytelling?
This is the first movie that a lot of people that know me and worked on this movie have said, this is an actual movie. And I think what they meant by that is storytelling wise and character wise, everything was just, it was just more. It had a much bigger punch. All the protagonists were so much more clearly defined, and the antagonist was clear, defined, dimensional. The set pieces and the production design, we spent so much more time actually looking for the right locations and props and everything. So I think what this movie taught me was to really just, it's the endless journey of paying attention to as many little details as you possibly can to make the best movie. And I think that comes with time, because there are plenty of times in my other first two films where I'm like, oh no, this is good enough. Like the production design, it is what it is. This is what it looks like. I'm happy with it. Now I don't really have that mindset anymore. I definitely spend a lot more time focusing on everything. And it's wonderful having a partner, Victoria, with me by my side, helping and doing a lot of the heavy lifting and shaping characters, writing, a good portion of like female perspectives, for example, which I'm oftentimes not too good at. So yeah, I definitely learned a lot on this movie, and I hope the release is a successful one.
What's it about?
It is about. It's hard to say what this is about without actually giving away the ending, but it's sort of a supernatural thriller horror comedy, very much like Beetlejuice, about a criminal who's on the run, and he gets into an altercation with the police officer at the very beginning, and he escapes, and he breaks into a woman's home and holds her hostage. And as the movie goes on, you realize that his reality starts to sort of shift and change, and things aren't really as they seem.
And what inspired that?
We were originally planning on making a different movie that we wrote last summer. And financing was actually, we lost the budget for that movie. The financier actually pulled out. So I turned to Victoria and I was like, I want to just make a movie. I just want to make something that we don't really rely on anyone else. Let's come up with an idea that takes place in pretty much one location with two actors primarily, and just do the best we can. And she liked the idea. After a couple days of thinking about it, I turned to Victoria and I was like, well, what about a movie about this? And she was like, there's some potential there. And then she offered a really cool idea, which added a ton to the story. We wrote it together in about 4 months, and I think went into production about 2 months after that.
So you're lucky you did it before the pandemic.
We are so lucky. Honestly, the only reason I'm sane right now is because we were able to shoot this movie beginning of March, and we wrapped probably about 3 days before everything shut down. On set, we were joking about the state of the world in like a now very unfunny way, but it was sort of, someone would cough and we'd be like, oh, you have the corona. And it was sort of a loose joke on set. Now, looking back, it's like, no, it's a real thing. But we are all so thankful that we got to work one last time for a while and, get this done before everything closed down. So it was just perfect timing. I think, I don't think it's a bad thing for the film. I think, especially distribution companies, platforms are, because of such uncertain times, it's probably going to, it might even help, I think distribution companies are looking for more material now. So it might not be that bad for the film.
Do you have any ADR or retakes that you need to do for it?
There's some second unit stuff that we might have to do. There is one little piece that we still have to shoot, but everything that we need to do from here on out can be done pretty safely, or even just hired out, to be done on someone else's time and just by themselves.
Sure, they can mail you the audio file or
Exactly. Yeah.
do something, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you share what it was like for the 2 months before production? So you finished the script and then you said you had around 2 months before you started.
It was about
to shoot?
2 months since we finished. Yeah. And of course we're, sort of trying our hardest to just tighten up the bolts of the script during that 2 months pre-production phase. But, that was pretty much just meeting with DPs, directors of photography, and meeting with actors, making offers to actors that we wanted to be in the film, locking our production insurance, which is one of the first things you do, getting your LLC in line so that you can do all of that. Just pretty standard pre-production stuff. And then we went scouting for locations, and the location for this movie was very important. And we actually ended up finding the perfect location in Ojai. And we met with the owner of this property, and it was just a beautiful, stunning house. And we worked something out with her, ended up shooting the entire thing there. And to raise the financing for the movie, we had a Seed and Spark campaign. And then we also had some investors come on board that were fans from Electric Love. So they saw what we could do with the previous film, and they invested some money into this one. I took the little money that we had made at that point of Electric Love and put that into this one. So it's literally just, the circle. And we were able to come up with the budget and, shot over, I believe the entire shoot was 15 days. So it was tight.
Did the crew and cast stay at the house in Ojai, or did you
That was the fun
rent?
part. Everybody actually stayed in the same house together. It was basically just a giant party for 15 days in this house in Ojai. And it was just a lot of fun. A lot of great food and good times. And
Do you set up these LLCs yourself?
Victoria sort of spearheads the setting up of LLCs. She does a lot of the pre-production work. That's her favorite part. It's my least favorite part. But yeah, it's there's a couple different ways to do it. I think for Val, we did it on LegalZoom. And then for Electric Love, we actually went to a building downtown and filled out all the paperwork in person. But yeah, there's several different ways to set up an LLC and.
What's the significance of guacamole?
I love guacamole.
What's your best recipe?
Sprinkling a little bit of the pomegranate seeds on top of the, of course, avocado, cilantro, red onion, a little bit of lime, although I could do with or without the lime. But the pomegranate seeds, it's a nice touch. It's a real nice touch.